to our next race, and it's heat number 60, race number 16 of the meeting. DD2 and DD2 Masters, Heat 5, Groups A versus D. Here is the starting grid. Ragnar Virus will start from pole position. Jakob Bezel will be alongside. Both race winners today. Ville Viljainen and Mika Metz from Finland and Germany, row 2. Lukas Horsman and Hannes Morin, row 3. Luca Minoretto and Manuel Tencha, row 4. Lauren Seifried and Leon Arndt, row 5, and complete the top 10. Completing the 17-strong grid, it's Leo Kirschenbauer, Robert Chopin, Alessandro Glauser, Johan Andersson, Dennis Thum, Nico Jörg, and Imke Arts. On to the formation lap they go, and it will be 10 minutes plus an additional lap. So red lights ignited on the starting gantry. So we'll be down to Ragnar Virus and Jakob Bezel to control the pace. And then we have 2 more races to go to conclude today's action. Right then, they get into formation. Tightly packed are the 17 drivers. Into the tram lines. Revs rise. Are we ready? We're lights out. We're off and racing. And Viljainen gets in behind Ragnar Virus, hanging Jakob Bezel up on the outside. And there's a little bit of a touch between second and third. And that now Constantine is the rest of the field as they're all scrabbling for traction and for position. And Lukas Horsman looking up the inside of Hannes Morin. Gets up the inside, the Swede runs wide. They both clash side pods and wheels twice between 6 and 7. They managed to get through, and one of the carts looks like Lukas Horsman in the 412 went a little bit wide coming out of turn 8 and into turn 9. But Ragnar Virus has catapulted away into the distance as Mika Metz trying to get on level pegging terms with Jakob Bezel for P3. And Hannes Morin rounding out the top 4 positions. Luca Minoretto ahead of the 439. Lawrence Seifried up into P7, challenging the Italian, going through into turn 3. Won't go for the move through turn 4. And just behind them they've got Leo Kirschenbauer, Leon Arndt. Lukas Horsman drops down to 10th position. And there's been a little bit of a problem. There is Robert Chopin and that is Lukas Horsman. Looks like they had a little bit of a moment, the pair of them. And that puts them the back end of the field, unfortunately. And Imke Arts is way behind as well. But now Luca Minoretto looking to go side by side. That's with Lawrence Seifried, I believe. And the Italian makes the move up the inside of the German. And Seifried now gets into the slipstream, into the toe, underneath the gantry, through into the right-hander at turn 3. Seifried up the inside and neatly gets the position. But then Minoretto back on the counter-offensive. Here comes Kirschenbauer and he gets through. Seifried loses out, courtesy of Minoretto and Kirschenbauer's Manuel Tencha battling away with Leon Arndt, and they've also got Nico Jörg for company. Leon Arndt now stuck in a KSB Racing Team sandwich, and Leon Arndt hits a bit of the curb coming out of turn 8, and it catches the left rear wheel. And Tencha now goes up the inside of Leon Arndt to take the position, and just behind them they've got Alessandro Glauser, who is leading in DD2 Masters, and he's got Dennis Thum just behind. The 532 representing the nation of Cyprus. But Ragnar Virus looking to make it a clean sweep of race victories. He's taken 2 today. He's looking for a clean sweep in race number 3. That's the penultimate heat for DD2 and DD2 Masters. 7 minutes remain, plus 1 lap. And Ragnar Virus has a lead of about 6/10. The flying Finn Vili-Viljainen gets sent one up the inside by Jakob Bezel. That could open the door for Mika Metz, and it does. Mika Metz looking up the inside, going into the final couple of right-handers, but he loses out on traction as Viljainen gets the hammer down and gets back past. But Mika Metz back in the slipstream, going through the chicane into turn 3. He could mount an assault going into turn 4. Viljainen goes defensive. Metz goes towards the outside of the corner to get a real good momentum carry through 5, and he gets up the inside through into turn 6, overtakes the Finn for 3rd position through turn 6 and makes it stick. Nicely done there by Mika Metz. And a little bit further back, well, it looks like Luca Minaretto has dropped Lawrence Seyfried and is trying to catch Hannes Morin, who is rounding out the top 5 positions in this race. So the leader crosses the line. Battle for 3rd place still waging on. Viljainen now trying to mount her counter-offensive against Mika Metz. Through into 3. Now down into the dip through turn 4. Mika Metz takes the tight defensive line, keeps Viljainen at bay. Now into the left-hander here at 6. And then through into the triple right, through 7, through 8, through 9, which becomes part of the 9-10 chicane complex. And the Finn still not giving up, not giving in. He's going to push 110% until the checkered flag. With every fibre in the muscles in his body, he's going to keep on pushing. And we've seen some great performances from Viljainen in years past, and this season has been no exception. Through under the gantry, into turn 3. Mika Metz still holding on to 3rd for the minute. But it's not a case of if, it's a case of when will Viljainen have the opportunity to get back past and take 3rd position from the German. A little bit further back, Lawrence Seyfried has been caught by the likes of Manuel Tenschert. He's actually been passed. And Seyfried is just trying to hang on at the moment. And he's got the 4:28 of Nico Jörg from Austria up the inside of him. And through goes somebody else. And that was Leo Karschenbauer. So the 2 Austrians quickly getting past Lawrence Seyfried. And just behind is Switzerland's Alessandro Glauser. Six minutes completed, 4 to go, plus an additional lap. And the battle for 3rd still waging on. Viljainen still closing in, but a little bit further back. Hannes Morin has been caught hand over fist for 5th and 6th position. So Luca Minaretto closing in on the Swede. So that's going to be a rather interesting battle, but that's really helping them. They look to be working together, do these 2. Closing in on Viljainen and Mika Metz, who are just up the road. There's not much between them. Between Mika Metz, Viljainen, Morin, Minaretto, it's less than a second. And Hannes Morin is now half a second behind Viljainen. Minaretto is just 0.372 of a second behind. And Lukas Hossmann has crossed the line. Robert Chopin, a lot of rubber and pickup on the left side pod of the 477 from Germany. I think he's just having to use it as a bit of a glorified testing session now because the time is fast running out. But Virus still leads. The Estonian unfazed, unchallenged, unrelenting. There's one particular famous motor racing movie once had a line in it called "Racing's the name of the game." Win or lose, put up or shut up, as there's going to be a change between Nico Jörg and Manuel Tenschert. That was through turn 6. That was for position, and that's for P7 on the road. things are not over and done with yet, because closing in on Lawrence Seifried, who's now in 11th position, he's got Johan Andersson and the 532 DD2 Masters driver of Dennis Thum just behind as they come across the bump through into turns 13 and 14. Just over 90 seconds remain, and Ragnar Virus' lead is now a whopping 1.2 seconds ahead of Jakob Bezel. Mika Metz, Viljainen, very much still at a stalemate, as are the two behind. Hannes Morin. Oh, and there's been a drama. Jakob Bezel has pulled to the side of the road. Jakob Bezel has dropped out of the race from second, and that was coming out of turn 6, and that has changed everything for Jakob Bezel this weekend here on Heats Day. And that has now promoted Mika Metz up into second, Viljainen into third, Hannes Morin into fourth, and Luca Muneretto now has the utmost motivation on a chassis he's never driven on before, a track he's never driven on before, and he's been running on pace. So 48 seconds still remain, and Ragnar Virus next time around might more than likely get the final lap board. And he's done one hell of a job, has the Estonian from Birolart Baltics. This could really help him this weekend, because it's going to put him at the sharp end of the grid, maybe even on pole position for the finals tomorrow, for final number 1. So 20 seconds on the clock. Looks like we might get another 2 laps out of this one on lap number 12. So out of the final corner, it's going to be close. 3, 2, 2 seconds on the clock. So this is the penultimate lap of the race, the penultimate lap of the heat stay for these drivers this season, as Viljainen really now has the opportunity. He's close to Mika Metz, but keep your eyes for the two behind, Morin and Muneretto. Anything could happen. We've seen it before today, that some things do happen when you least expect it. The unpredictability of motorsport can rear its ugly head in any form, whether it's karting all the way up the ladder, and today has been quite no exception. But Ragnar Virus this time will get the sign he needs. One more lap, and it's on course for a third successive heat victory for the Estonian. As Viljainen now closing in on Mika Metz, going through turn 3 for the final time. Is he going to brave it through turn 4? He doesn't this time, but he gets close in the braking zone once again. Through turn 6, Mika Metz goes on the defensive. Viljainen stays behind, but he's right on the back bumper of the German, going through turn 8. Now into 9 and 10 for the final time. But in the meantime, Ragnar Virus is coming through turn number 11. He's got 3 more corners to go, and the Estonian is going to make it count on heat stay. So over the bump for the final time, round the final 2 corners. It's 3 from 3 for Ragnar Virus from Estonia. He's done the job, and he celebrates with a fist bump to the air with his right hand. Mika Metz holds on to second position ahead of Viljainen by just under a tenth and a half. Hannes Morin and Luca Muneretto in 4th and 5th. Nico Jörg, Manuel Tenschert, Leo Kirschenbauer, Alessandro Glauser and Lawrence Seifried ran at the top 10. Alessandro Glauser takes DD2 Masters honours in this race. Second in that class, who ran it out the top 11, Dennis Thum representing Cyprus, with Johan Andersson, Imke Arts, Lukas Horstmann, Leon Arndt and Robert Chopian running out the 16 that finished, but disaster in the final heat of the day for Jakob Bezel from the Czech Republic, who retired on lap number 10.